Hey everybody, it's the interview queen Alicia Atout here, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to my interview with James Labrie from Dream Theater. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I have to say
Excellent.
before we dive into the questions, I am so
Mhm.
excited to have you on my show today. I used to play rock band competitively, and Dream Theater were one of those bands on the game with
Oh
Panic
my
Attack.
God.
I played that song, I can't even tell you how many times, and that's what
Oh
got
my
me
God.
obsessively into your band. So this
That's
interview,
crazy.
this interview
Oh my
means
God.
so much to me right now. So thank you.
That's excellent. Wow. So what instrument did you tend to go for
It
mostly?
was typically bass and then vocals. So
Oh wow.
I was trying to channel some you in there. It was difficult
Yeah.
though.
Oh wow. Well, that's interesting. That's great. Most
Yeah,
people would say, yeah, I was playing the guitar or drums or something like
right.
that. So that's cool. Yeah. I
No,
love I love the wallpaper in the
thank you
background
very
or the
much.
background drape or whatever it might be.
It's
Yeah.
deceiving. It's actually like a thick piece of paper, but you can move it because I have
Oh
another one
wow.
underneath.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Good. Effective. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Cool.
Now, of course, we are going to dive into the music because the band just released a fantastic new record. But before we do, you are known as the Pirate. So I'd love to know where that fantastic nickname originated from and why they decided to call you
Yeah,
that.
the pirate. I should take this off, so all that. But so what happened is I have a proclivity of being somewhat I guess I can be moody at times, but normally I'm usually straight and even and a real nice guy. Okay. But there's this tendency of me, depending on what's going on in the road. And it's usually if I'm not feeling well, like anybody, like you get
Fair.
moody or what. So Jordan Rudis, our esteemed keyboard player, one day I was in one of those moods. It's like, hey, just leave me alone. I'm dealing with something. I got a really wicked cold and whatever. That whole singer syndrome bullshit that goes on. Okay. So he started calling me he goes, no problem there, pirate. And I looked over, I said, what? What did you say? And he called me a pirate because he goes, well, you're like a angry pirate, you know? And I said, okay, whatever. And then he just started calling me that all the time. Like, so the days went on and he just said, hey, pirate. And then somebody else in the crew would hear him and they go, oh, pirate. What do you call him, James Pirate? That's all it started, like seriously.
That's amazing.
And
That
and
easy.
then yeah, it was that easy. It's just like Jordan. Jordan's like that type of guy. He's very he's animated and he likes to put words behind what he's always thinking. And it's pretty funny. We call him the blues man because he can sing like a blues man, but at the same time, right off the top of his head, he can sing these crazy rhymes. And it's like listening to a blues artist.
It's
I'm not
impressive.
kidding you. He's crazy. But anyway, so that's how it started. It's nothing like the fans started going, hey man, James, you remind me of a
Yeah.
pirate. It all came from Jordan. It's
Oh,
that, and it
that's
stuck.
amazing. That's such a
Yeah,
great nickname, though.
yeah, yeah,
It really
yeah. It
is.
is. It is. It is for sure. Well, he calls me Captain sometimes too. Hey,
Captain.
Captain. Yeah,
The
yeah.
captain.
So,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
so
It's all.
good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Well,
Anyways, that's how it started. Yeah,
that's amazing. Well, as I
yeah.
previously mentioned, your brand new record, A View from the Top of the World, it's officially out worldwide. So just walk me through what kind of runs through your mind leading up to a huge release like this, the excitement and just the relief now that it is finally out.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, yeah, it is great having something like this released because we were really excited. And like we are with every album, but with this, we just felt, like it's different times, right? So we're all
Mhm.
going through this pandemic. And I think that has a lot to do with just the overall sound, mood, the energy that's on this. It seems very spirited. And it had a lot to do with the fact that we were sitting around like everyone else and going, okay, what are we going to do? We're going to do this for the
Yeah.
next like year and a half, 2 years. So why don't we get together? Why don't we, do what we love to do and write some music and record another album? So that's exactly what we did. Going into it, there wasn't really that many preconceived ideas. It was just like normally we speak about, we discuss where we think we might want to go musically, the direction, or what we find influencing or what we find might be necessary for us to challenge ourselves and to touch upon musically. So with that being said, we did know going in that we were definitely going to do an epic. So we knew we were going to do a big track, and it
I
had been a
love
while.
that.
Yeah, it had been a while since we did something like that, like a illumination theory or whatever. And so we thought, yeah, let's do this. And that being said, like once you know that you're going to go that route where you have absolute creative freedom, and not that we haven't with any of our songs, we're very unpredictable, but that's great, right? It allows us to be who we are. So we knew going in that this was going to be a part of the album. The other part was that we just wanted to write, we wanted to each song to basically once again to have its own entity, and just what we felt would be an amazing adventure and experience. And the first song we wrote was The Alien. So that
Love that
kind of
song.
really set the template, like we were listening to that song and going, oh my God, this is kicking butt. Like, I mean, the whole thing just opens up with Mike Mangini being the crazy man that he is on drums. It's just phenomenal what he does. And it just opened it up to, it kind of set the everything else into motion. But, like when we're writing it, there's so many ideas. You have John and Jordan in the room and they're just throwing ideas back and forth. Then you have Mike Mangini coming in, and he's very meticulous as how he approaches things. There is a method to the madness, so to speak. And I think with all that going on, you have all these guys that have been together for so long, for so many years, and we just fall into that place of creativity seamlessly, and then everything else takes over, and it just starts to happen. It's ineffable, I guess. Yeah, it really is. So but yeah, and that's how we came to this. So when we listen, like obviously, like any band, you're going to listen to every album from beginning to end. And I know that when we were doing that individually, we would just be, talking to one another and saying, "Oh my God, like can't wait for our fans to hear this," because I think they're going to really feel that true essence of classic Dream Theater, but still being contemporary and bringing in something that the album to me is like, it's so full of energy, high octane energy from beginning to end, but it still has those dynamics and those little subtle hints, very eclectic, but cohesive, and I think that's really what makes it. Yeah.
It's so amazing to hear a band who's been together for that long can have such a cohesive just sound still, especially when you're 15
Mhm.
records in, because you hear these nightmare stories where people are just banging their heads against the walls for ideas. And the fact
Yeah.
that something as easy as with the Alien, for example, it's just one kind of drum and you're like, all right,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is where
Yeah.
we're going from now.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
magic.
What surprises me is, and we were talking about this, a couple of us in the band were talking about it. It's like when I read, and I can't wrap my head around this. If somebody else can explain this, please do. But when I read where some of the fans, and I'm talking very, very few, will say, yeah, man, but they sound like themselves. They sound too much like Dream Theater. I'm like,
What are you supposed to sound like?
do you want to explain that? Because I don't know if I can really fathom what it is that you're getting at. Like, if are you saying that we're copying ourselves? Well, God forbid that we copy ourselves, because we are us.
Yeah.
And are you saying that we're repeating? I don't think so. Like,
Oh,
I'll be the first. Au contraire. But it's like when I listen to this stuff, I think that there's always a purpose. We are going to maintain that familiarity, that identity musically. So if that's what you're referring to, that's great.
yeah,
That's
it's a
exactly,
positive.
yeah, that's what we want. We don't want to completely, shift gears and come out sounding like, I don't know, Gino Vanelli all of a sudden, but whatever. And I love Gino Vanelli. Hey, trust me, I think he's an amazing artist. But so when I read stuff like that, I'm just like, okay, but what exactly are you saying? Like, I don't get it. But whatever.
Everyone's a
That's
critic now, aren't they?
that's the community, right?
Well, this
Mhm.
record's a really interesting one as it has its dark moments, but it also shines in positivity lyrically. As you mentioned, it's very energetic. And just bringing
Mhm.
up the Alien again, for example, to me at
Yeah.
least, my takeaway, it's a really hopeful song, kind of about being that alien, the odd person out, but finding a purpose. That's how I
Mhm.
interpreted it. So I just love
Yeah.
to know what sparked the idea for that track and lyrically where it was taken.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the spark for that track was just, the excitement of getting back into the studio and then being together collectively and being able to just, do what we love to do. And that is put our minds together and come up with something that we feel is exactly, it epitomizes who and what we are musically. Lyrically, I was actually, my son Chance, we were going on a drive one day to get some stuff. And he said, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we, while we're on this drive, do you want to listen to Joe Rogan, his podcast?" And I said, "Sure. What do you got?" And he goes, "Well, he did this podcast with Elon Musk, and they're talking about interplanetary discovery, Mars and all that stuff, right? Because Elon Musk is trying to put that together." So I listened to the whole podcast. I listened to some of it while we were driving. And then when I got home, I listened to the rest. It's like a 3-hour podcast with Elon Musk. And the whole conversation is based around interplanetary discovery, going out and basically, as Elon Musk was saying, that in fact, we become the alien. We're out there terraforming planets. We're out there discovering other planets that are, inhabitable for us as a species and everything else that comes with us. And he just went on, like, he's just a brilliant man. And he said, if we don't do this, inevitably we're going to outgrow this planet, its resources, the number of people that we have, so on and so forth. So he said, if we don't start thinking about this now, when are we? When it's upon us that it's too late. So, and he said, and it's the only way that I see, this is Elon saying, that we can continue the species is by going and terraforming other planets and becoming a part of that. And so that now we're interspersed throughout the universe, right? So it's just, so I took that.
That went into a song. That's amazing.
And I just said, okay, I'm going to write a lyric about this. This is really cool. I was extremely inspired, because and it's funny because Chance had to go into like the store and he's in there, and then while he's in there, I am literally with my phone and going, and I'm just going crazy with these words, just writing down these words, and then I was able to put them back, like into a better perspective later. But that's usually the way it works. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always interesting hearing someone's process behind kind of gathering things for a song, especially when it's a song that you can relate to so much. Because my take on it's completely different from where yours came from, but that's kind of the beauty of it.
But that is beautiful. Like, so I never, unless I'm asked, I never want to be literal with my lyric. I'm always like, okay, so what does it say to you? What does that mean to you? And that's all that matters. Is how does it resonate with you? Does it imply something that makes you feel good? Hey, if it doesn't make you feel good, then that's also not a bad thing. Maybe it's conjuring up something that is a little more somber, and it's something that makes you connect with something and makes you who you are. Everything that we experience is what creates who and what we are, right?
For sure.
So yeah,
beautifully put. Well, when it comes to the band, I actually saw you all live for the first time in Europe, although I'm here in Toronto, Canada. That's where I'm based out of.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I know that the band's obviously toured all over the world over the years. And of course, with a name like Dream Theater, I'd love to know if there's a stage, city, or theater that's kind of eluded you throughout your career and just a place you would still absolutely love to perform, or if almost everywhere has been checked off by now.
Oh, no, I think there's still many places that we'd love to go into. Like, just off the top of my head, we'd still love to go into Vietnam.
Okay.
Like Cambodia. We still love to go into South Africa, even North Africa. I don't know about the middle and all that. I've never really heard of a lot of bands touring in that area. Like places like the Middle East, if they could open up and it could be a safe situation, because I think it's very unfortunate that there's a lot of countries over there, and due to the situation that they're in, because we have a lot of fans that come online from these parts of the world that say, the dream for me would be to see you guys live one day, or even if you came to our country, but we know that we're thinking, beyond the realm of possibilities at this point in life, and I think it's really sad because music does, as cheesy as it sounds, it does bring us together. It's universal. Everybody is connected to it immediately, and it's just, I think the place that we've always loved to go, besides several places in Europe, I know that when we're in New York, because basically that's considered our hometown,
Mhm.
right? So, playing a place like Radio City Music Hall is
Oh
gorgeous.
yeah.
It's beautiful, and but that's not to say that there's so many. It's a numeral, like it's or immeasurable. I mean, to say exactly which place is our favorite, because it's unbelievable. Everywhere we go is such a great experience. Yeah.
Well, hopefully over time things will be able to get a little bit easier and better. And for all those
I
bands
hope
or
so.
all those fans, mind you, that are
Yeah,
writing you, you'll be able to go there
yeah,
one day.
yeah.
Fingers
Well, we
crossed.
first got to get over this hump, the
Yeah,
pandemic,
right.
you know? Yeah. Hmm.
When it comes to the group, obviously Dream Theater are hands down one of the most influential and important progressive metal bands, just point blank, period. So speaking to music and live music, since we're all missing it so much right now, if you could see any other group right now live, who would you love to see?
Right now, who would I love to see? Well, do they have to be all alive?
No, you can choose whoever. It won't be as
You
fun,
know?
but no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, uh, like I've seen so many bands like over the years. So, I mean, I had the pleasure of seeing Queen when they did have Freddie Mercury in the band. So
Amazing.
I'd love to experience that all over again. But today, like I always wonder where Freddie would be today, you know? And I always think, all the amazing stuff that they would have done. And the albums, the material, the tours, and who he would be right now. I mean, he'd be in his 70s, but I still think that he would just be a phenomenal artist and have so much to offer and bring to the floor. But like aside from that, like I haven't seen Young the Giant. I'd love to see those guys, you
Very
know?
good live.
Yeah.
Very good
Are
live.
they? Are they?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
so
see,
energetic. It's anthemic when you see them live because everybody's
I
so
believe
into it.
it.
Their songs are so positive.
Oh man, they're such a great band. I mean, my daughter turned me on to them, and I was just like, holy shit, these guys
Yeah.
are they're amazing. And Need to Breathe. I don't know if you ever listen to
I've
them, but
interviewed them. They're
yeah,
great.
yeah. See, I'd love to see them. Who's the other one there? There's geez, an artist there just the other day, and I was saying, oh well, both myself and my daughter would love to see Bjork
Okay.
live because she's just such a great talent,
Right.
and obscure, but she's amazing. She's just like incredible. But I don't know, like right off the top of my head.
What amazing
I'd
picks.
love to see you too again. And it's just I want to definitely get out and see those guys again. They always put on a phenomenal show, and it's such a thrilling experience to see that band. Yeah,
We just
for
need to
sure.
get all those groups together and make them do a festival or
Oh
something.
my God. Can you imagine?
I'd
Imagine? That would
attend.
be amazing. But yeah, that's a little bit of a diverse kind of putting together. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
it'd be
it
great. It'd
works.
be great. Yep. Yeah.
Well, the last thing I wanted to bring up and ask you about, it's the fact that one of the reasons that your lovely publicist wanted us to actually chat is because we are both a Canadian. So what would you
That's right.
say
We are.
is, we are, and proudly, so what would you say is the most Canadian thing about yourself?
Well, I'll tell you something right now. What's bizarre is you said that, and look who's calling me, my publicist.
So funny.
Is that crazy? That's crazy.
What
Um,
timing?
but you know what? Here's the thing: is that you're Canadian. That's great. I'm Canadian, and I grew up with a very rich musical, I guess I could say, influence, because my whole family were very into music, and my sister played guitar, my one brother played piano, and my dad sang, and he played trumpet and stuff, and my mother had a beautiful voice, she sang as well. And so you know and then growing up and getting into a band like Rush or Max Webster,
Yes.
or like just even Tom Cochrane, I thought, great Canadian
So
artist.
good.
Yeah, and to me, Brian Adams too. Like, I mean, the guy wrote such great songs, and great artist. And so I think, it's funny because when I hear throughout the years, I've heard of other artists being Canadian, and they're out there, or they might be in this band who's from America, or this band that's from somewhere in Europe, and that, but they're always a great talent. And I'm just saying, there might not be many of us Canadians, but the ones that are out there, or even like Sebastian Bach, who went out and did Skid Row, and then he's been on doing his solo material for quite some years now. I mean, it's just it kind of the Canadians stand out, and I think it's proud. Rush was such an influential entity, a Canadian freaking powerhouse that influenced so many bands, including the band that I'm in.
Right.
And it's just to have that background, and to have that that kind of citizenship with these other great musicians is yeah, it's something to be proud of, for sure.
I love
Absolutely.
that answer
Yeah.
so much. You could have said
Yeah.
like Canadian tuxedo or something, but you went very, very deep there, and I
Yeah,
appreciate
Canadian
that so
tuxedo.
much.
There we go. There we go.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
well,
Yeah, for
James,
sure.
I want to say
Okay.
thank you so, so much for coming on here
You're
and
welcome.
doing this interview. It means so much, as I mentioned prior, so I appreciate it.
Okay, well, thank you. It was
Of
great.
course. To
Okay,
everybody
well, take care.
watching.
Okay. And we'll see you when we're back in Toronto, and doing a show. Yeah, it'd
I
probably
do
be the
hope
Meridian
so.
or something like that we play. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, to
Cool.
everybody watching, this has been the fantastic James Labrie from Dream Theater. Be sure to check out aliciatout.com for plenty more exclusive interviews and features, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Excellent.